What's up, dudes? Max here, back with more impressions from Summer Games Fest. This is kind of the Capcom block right now because we did a video already on Resident Evil 9. There's another one coming on Onimusha. And now we got to talk about, of all games, Pragmata. We got to talk about it. So, yeah, the only unfortunate thing about all of these games, and man, I wish this wasn't the case, is that we don't have any accompanying footage to show. And it's the same thing for all games across the board, for the Resident Evil demo that we either played or watched, for the Onimusha demo that we all pretty much watched, and the Pragmata demo that we obviously played. We don't have any footage to show of it. But yeah, well, let's talk about Pragmata. So gather round, chat. You know, there's a campfire here. So let's just get into it. I can't be coy about this, and Pragmata is a game that, over its inception, its existence, when it first showed up before the PlayStation 5 was even out, I'm like, this has always looked cool, but it's never been interesting to me. There's been like a weird obsession with it where we don't even know what the game really is. Like, it's obviously a third-person shooter action game in some way, but for all those years, people were acting excited about it, and I'm like, dude, you don't even know what this is. Like, this could be a dynamic turn-based card game, and you would not have any idea. You're just sort of into a concept, and you have no idea what the game actually is. So that kind of became a meme on my channel. I banned the word Pragmata a couple years ago under the guise that it's not ever coming back. Like, I think this game has been gone for so long that it's been delayed to Kingdom Come. It's not coming back, dude. So anyway, that's the history with it. It's sort of been like, I'm the big Capcom fan, right? But I just didn't feel like I could get behind this game because it's not a real thing yet. There's nothing to get behind. So anyway, it shows up, and you know, I make a bet that it actually shows up, and it's finally here, and Pragmata's back, and I can't believe it, dude. It didn't get canceled. That's crazy. It didn't get canceled. So it shows up, we get another trailer, and we still don't know anything. Like no kidding, we still see that it might be like a third-person shooter action thing in some way, but from that trailer, no joke, I still have no idea what the hell the game is. And now it's at Summer Games Fest. So yeah, Pragmata's there. Of course I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it its time of day, but I'm a little reluctant. So let's just walk through this entire situation. I don't have exactly a lot of confidence in the game just because it has not been a thing for so long. So we get there, and there's a little bit of a presentation. And this presentation is going over kind of a tutorial. We start watching this tutorial, and it sets up this thing like Diana, which is the robot that's with you. It's a third-person shooter game where you're shooting robots and stuff in this space colony thing. And this robot girl on your back has to hack monsters, and she hacks monsters with a specific button on the controller. I can't remember what, but it's like one of the triggers. And once you hack the monster, or hack the robot monster, sorry, and it brings up like a puzzle thing, and then you have to do this puzzle thing while also shooting, and it's like, oh, so I gotta like puzzle this and then shoot that and like do all this. I'm like, bro, what is this? So yeah, like I start seeing this presentation, and I'm like, this is exactly what we thought it was gonna be. Oh my god. So like, all right, let's just play this thing. So I get over to the demo. There's like a quick little introduction. It kind of is like a bit further into the game as the demo begins. And yeah, we kind of play out a sequence of events that begin the entire experience, because it is the beginning of the game. And you get through a room, and you hack a robot, and you get to the next room, and you do like a puzzle that involves the hack as well with a wall, and then new enemies come at you, and then you do something else that provides a new hack for a new enemy type that does something different there too. And then another room later, there's like multiple of them, so now I'm having to actively dodge these things, and I'm hacking one and paying attention to the next and shooting and like looking. And the whole point of the puzzle is that you kind of have to play like a snake mini game where there's a big grid of almost like 25 dots, right? And in those dots, you have to make your way around this in a specific fashion. There's like 2 key points you have to hit. So you have to make your way around this stuff and play what is kind of like a small mini game on top of a core shooting action game. And then I kept playing it, and about a minute or two had passed, and I went, I'm ruined. It's it's over for me. This is the end. Because I like it. It's the game that I have been clowning on quite emphatically for the longest period of time, and I get to the next room, and this music kicks in, this techno music drops right when all the monsters do, and you just enter this flow state where the right side of my brain is like doing all of this stuff, but the left side of my brain is playing like a shooter action game. And yeah, like the main character, Hugh, has like a dodge with a boost gauge, and that gauge at the bottom allows you to do only so many actions, right? You can't just boost all over the place, but you have like running and you have floating and you have ways to maneuver around this stuff, but you're also having to lock in and then have Diana solve these mini games, and you pretty much solve the mini games. Let me get out a controller. You move everything around with these buttons and you shoot with these buttons, but then like the mini game is over here. So when you go up, left, down, right on the mini game to pilot around, it is not impairing your ability to move around with the main character. Everything sounds like this does not seem like a particularly great idea, you know? I'm watching this presentation like, bro, I don't know about this. This is pretty weird. And then you start playing it and I'm like, ah, shit. It's good. In fact, it was, I would honestly say, one of the only games at the show that I went back over and over and over again to play. And I'm so pissed off that that's the case. It's very bizarre to me. So why do I feel with this way about this game? So just clown on it, Max. I know what you're saying. The thing is, the game engages the shit out of you. Like, I'm sitting here and you're doing these things, and that left right hemisphere of the brain shit starts kicking in a way where it's like, I go through this whole demo and I'm just flying through it, right? You're solving environmental puzzles, you're doing this, you're doing that. The environment's okay. It's sort of like straightforward and doesn't have a ton of pizzazz to it because you're just on a space station. The enemies are evolving and getting different, and they're giving you different ones and different combinations, like a lot. And you're having to look around a lot of like, okay, so how do we get past this room? There's the puzzle up there. Now I got to solve this with a quick hack, which is like a quick 3-button press of which one's like light, medium, or heavy. So there's different kinds of puzzles that are being presented in this first, like, it honestly is 15 minutes. Because by the time you get to the boss, the devs are like, nah, can't play anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess my time is up, because I was locked in so hard when I was playing through all these sequences. By the time I got to the boss, I looked around and everybody was gone. And it was like, oh, I guess I was in there for a while? Oh, okay, thank you. And then I came back under the idea that, okay, so I got to get back in there and beat that boss. I got to go. That boss has got to get beaten. I have to. So I got back, and on the second playthrough, I skipped all the cutscenes because I had seen them all, and the presentation stuff, which is like, they're giving you some lore things. There's like, you know, combat room, moving room with a puzzle, back to combat room. So sometimes a lore room. Second time through, I just fly. I'm just flying through this shit. I know how the mechanics work. I know how stuff is. And it was even better. I felt like I was playing a Mega Man game, where now I know the patterns and stuff. Now it's just time to book it and cook it. And to be real, I liked it even more. Flew by the whole demo, just like roasted everything, and then got to the boss, and they tapped me on the shoulder and they're like, that's it. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And they're like, I've only been here for a couple minutes. And the guy's like, you know, actually, we can't have you play the boss right now. And I'm like, oh, the demo ends at the boss, and they doesn't have like a hard end point. They just pretty much tell you that's all we want to show for right now, which is like things are still being tuned and worked on, I guess. And I was like, oh man, come on. Like, I actually got to a point where I was enjoying myself so much and moving as quickly as I could from like the beginning of the level to the end, that like that flow state kicked in, man. And then I started to realize I have felt this before in a different game. I've been here before, my dude. Another game where you go into like a robot base and you have to start immediately getting into this base and evaluating enemies and like icons and different things on a map. And there is a moment where you enter said level and the music drops and it's like engage. And there's like techno music to go with that as you're doing stuff, and the characters dancing. I'm describing Piano 3. And I got confirmation that there is no spiritual connection between Piano 3 and this, because I'll be real, I played Piano 3 back when it came out. It's not necessarily a great game. The exploration was kind of balls, and the game is just kind of the same thing the whole time. But I felt like the thing that was the most fun about that, which is enter room with kind of like robot space, enemies and objectives present themselves to you, execute game plan. Here comes the techno music, and the music would accompany you through that sequence and then end as we move on and push forward like in Piano 3. That shit was exactly the same. Like, the techno music kicks in, all right, Diana, let's whoop ass, bam, bam, hack this, do this, bam, hack that. I was like, wow, I'm locked in here, dude. I can't believe it after so many years. I can't believe it's fun. Like, everybody I talked to said the same thing. They're like, why is this so good? Like, everybody was saying the same shit. Wait a minute, why is it so simple and fun? And I use this example where it feels like an indie AAA game where the visuals and the performance was only okay. If I have some criticisms, the performance was all over the place, right? It definitely needed some work, but almost the performance didn't get in the way of me having a lot of fun. It feels like an indie AAA game where there's this concept of like, you're doing one thing and then this other thing. And these sort of handshake with each other and how they complement the action. So solving this and moving to that, going from like this situation to solving a puzzle, enemies literally building up and gonna smack you, and you have to be like, crap, do I try to like solve the puzzle to expose the weak point of the monster in time? Because that's the whole gimmick of like, once the puzzle is solved, the monster goes, ugh, and it stuns, and you get all these weak points that you can attack. Do I try to solve this just in time and then boom, they hit you like, ah, crap. And when you get hit, it's like Diana takes the damage. Like, and if you screw up something where you're going through the puzzle and you mess it up, Diana goes, she's like on your back and she gets shocked. And he was like, sorry. Like, something like that happened when I was playing. It was so funny, dude. That was sort of my experience with it. I felt a little bit of spiritual Piano 3 here. This is one of those games, again, I've been describing this a bit. The same things happen with Invincible Versus and even Resident Evil 9. Once you actually get your hands on it, it's like way better. And that presentation, anything that we've seen, doesn't really give you like the connecting tissue satisfaction of solving those puzzles and clearing out those rooms in the way that like, no, you have to be in there and engaged in order to feel what that feels like. So this is one of those games I recommend you try, right? Hopefully there's a demo. Hopefully there's more trade shows that it's available at. This is one that I don't think you should skip out on because it really does feel like a sort of like simple concept, but it feels very arcade-like. And when I was playing it, it evolved a little bit. There was just like 15 minutes of a game, man. It's like the beginning, but it evolved a little bit. It gave modifiers. So you pick up modifiers and guns across the level where these guns get added to your inventory, but they have limited ammunition. You have to literally pick up another gun with more ammunition if you want to get more ammunition. And you get like a big shotgun with a spread, you get a pistol that recharges, and you get a net, like a giant net gun that stasises the enemies in place. So when you expose the enemies, to a hack, right? And you solve the puzzle, you stasis them to keep them there longer in that exposed state, and you just blast the shit out of them. You just like roast them as much as possible. So that process became pretty addictive, dude. It became pretty addictive to go from like point A to point B to point C to solve the room. The techno music chills out. We did it. This is very much in the vein of like Exoprimal and I would say Kunitsugami, where this game's been in development for a long time. And those games were obviously unique ideas, sort of like not the traditional Capcom game, big franchise. This is Capcom, obviously with a whole bunch of money now because they're doing very well, trying some interesting concepts, and that's sort of where that budget is going, which I appreciate. And as much as Exoprimal wasn't exactly for me with its like multiplayer to PvEVP aspect, and Kunitsugami, a cool game, a great concept. I love the fact that it exists, but it's really not for me. You know, it's really a game that like I tried and I gave it a good shot, but I don't see myself playing through this. Of all these games, Pragmata is the one I'm beating this game, straight up. I am going to start it. I'm going to beat it. I'm super curious how the gameplay state continues. I might try to go through it as fast as I possibly can once you get all the story and cutscenes and stuff like that. But I do have hopes. The performance was an issue. The game was really cheesy, man. Like, just for an idea of presentation, when Diana's there and she's meeting Hugh and she gets on your back and starts like working with you because she's a robot, she literally has a moment where the robot is coming up to them, and the bad robots are coming up to them, and Diana goes like, executing protocol Xehanort 456, you know, hack modifiers engaged, executing hack. And I'm like, oof, man, it's like overtly cheesy. And when Hugh is like dodging attacks and monsters are all coming at him, I swear to God, he's like, oh gosh darn it, these freaking robots. Because you have like a robot child on your shoulder. So he's like naturally censoring himself. I feel like the relationship of these two characters has to be like almost overtly cheesy in a way. So that's kind of the way the game is. In many ways, it very much reminds me of a classic Capcom game, because the gameplay loop is almost quite Mega Man-like, and I use that comparison where it's like, it's got the vibes and flow state of like a PNO3, but way better. PNO3 is not very fun of a game, but it has like the move forward, push forward actions of like a stage to stage to stage element of like a Mega Man, but obviously with a fantastical giant AAA presentation. But I do also hope that there's different places you can go to. The big problem with PNO3 is that it mostly took place in very drab white robot walls throughout the entire game. So I hope that there's a lot of different biomes and the story escalates in certain ways. I don't know how big the game is. I don't know how long it's going to go because, dude, we got to play so little of it. But I went from being the biggest Pragmata hater, right? I was legit never on this game's side for the past 2 years. And I had just such a good time. It was the one of the games of the show that I was legit bummed I could not play more. I was like disappointed that I just start getting really into it and you say I can't even finish the boss. Like, I was kind of like mad, and I let them know that. I was like, hey, you know, this is a weird game with a weird concept and not everyone's gonna be on board with this, but I am, and I am not happy that I can't fight that boss, dude. I'm ruined. The word Pragmata is gonna have to get officially unbanned from YouTube chat, from Twitch chat from this point forward, because I like it. I hate that I like it. I hate it, man. I hate that I'm gonna play it on stream and I'm gonna be like, we clowned on this for so long and oh shit, it's good. So anyway, that's my impressions of the second game from Capcom at Summer Games Fest. When there's more stuff on Pragmata, I am straight emphatically watching these trailers, dissecting what the hell is happening, what mechanics are being used, like all of that stuff. But this is definitely a game that you're gonna look at just like I did and go, nah. Big nah. Like Exoprimal, you look at it and you go, oh, dinosaurs, ah. Like, there's a thing that can get you there. Kunitsugami, like, maybe if you're in your RTS, you're like, oh, RTS, ah, like, that could be cool. This one, it's like, I don't know what I'm getting into here, man. Like, this doesn't really feel like anybody would potentially, like, immediately get on board from what you're seeing with this puzzly, action-y thing happening at the same time, but trust me, as soon as you get in there and it starts elevating and doing new things and keeps going and it stops all of a sudden, I desperately wanted more. So that's it. I'll be back with more. We got to talk about Onimusha at some point too. I might do that on stream later tonight because we saw a whole bunch of Onimusha gameplay and there's a lot to talk about there in terms of their approach to Onimusha and what they're doing and what it looks like. So yeah, that's also a presentation. We didn't get to play it, so stay tuned. We'll be breaking that down in the future. If you guys are looking forward to more Pragmata, I'll definitely be putting up probably a full playthrough of this game when it does come out. So until then, thank you guys for any thumbs up on the video. My apologies for those of you that wanted me to be deeply disappointed by this. I did too. Trust, man. I wanted to be I wanted the jokes to write themselves. And unfortunately, I found myself in a situation where I was like doing this and I was like, oh, damn it. I like it. I can't believe that I like it.